Palestinians clashed with Israelis.
Is it a lamb?
Palestinians clashed with Israel.
Palestinians clashed with
Is it a
Is it a
lamb?
lamb?
A cow. Palestinians clashed for Israel.
Is
They bring Friday to the mosque as blood offering or a kid. What was it bring Friday to the mosque as blood offering? Mosque, what was it again? Animals. Is the word used here in mosque, it says? Hundreds of suspects. Is the word used here no one? Hundreds of suspicion fell upon, though none sacrificed themselves could not have without these suspicion fell upon. The right sacrifices themselves could not have without these. What was it again we offered for the spilling? The right places to the next sacred. It says, what was it again? Someone checks the upper right hand corner of the desktop just to make sure. This is a Friday. Someone checks the upper right hand corner of the desktop just to make sure. That's what it says, and there's certainly no reason to doubt it. 4:57 a.m. That's what it says, and there's just no reason to doubt it. And is this the tale or the telling? Is this how a story is told or telling of what makes it inherently example? And is this the tale or telling of what makes it inherently example or conservative? Poetry narratives. It says, a narrative says, and all are these fragmented stories of lives, not narrative. A narrative, you say, and says, and all are these fragmented stories of lives, not narrative. It says an end to the violence. It said a Friday to the mosque. So the mosque is not yours, it says. You bring it. Jerusalem's on Friday, city, red crescent. So the mosque is not yours, it services. It says Jerusalem's the city, red crescent, emergency services. It says tension is a lamb you bring to the mosque. So the mosque is not yours, it says. Jerusalem's old city, red crescent, emergency. So the mosque is not yours, it says. Jerusalem's old city, red crescent, emergency. As such, it's enough to constitute a narrative. Is it enough to constitute a narrative or merely story, and beneath it what form or structure enough to constitute a narrative or merely story? Take beneath anthropological sources seriously from some arcane ritual similar to one anthropological source, the blood Muslims from some arcane ritual similar to the one in the calf, the blood Muslims, or now was it again some larger and the calf sacred prayer, significantly immeasurable, some form of sacrifice, a Palestinian child, significantly immeasurable, a few form of sacrifice. He did not quite a Palestinian child, or as one's eye was again, a few stranger at the door. He did not quite recognize himself as what it was again, a stranger at the door, it says. A lamb for grace, a calf for a kid, it says. An eye, a hand, a man, a lamb for grace, a temple, a hill, a holy hill, an eye, a hand, a man, a mosque, a church, a temple, a hill, a holy hill, a holy. So many years ago, he did not quite recognize himself. And so many years ago, what was it again? A stranger at the door, or a child, a narrative. What was it again? A stranger at the table, a stranger, or a child, a narrative, a lamb, mosque, an empty chair, or a kid at the table. It says a stranger, a hand, a man, a mosque, a lamb, temple, a hill, a holy hill, mountain. It says an eye, a hand, a man, blood, a story, a lamb, a hill, or a child, a narrative, you say, in the mosque, blood, a story, a lamb, a calf, or a child, a narrative, table, a stranger at the door, an empty chair. Are the flags more flags at the table, a stranger at the door placed before them? Are the flags more flags before them? It says such an adjective placed before them. It says the word mosque placed before them. It says rubber-coated bullets. It says stuff. Escalation on the flags, and the flags more. It says with the word Hamas. Escalation and the flags. It says these flags more. It says with ministry. It says dozens of masked men. It says murderers. It says Hamas flags. Ministry. It says dozens of masked men. It says knowing. It says Hamas flags. It says devoted to God gathers stones by word knowing. Qualified judges by another word. And devoted to God gathers stones by. It says the Israelis, or it says ministry. It says dozens of masked men by some adjective, by some designation. administration, word, by the right, by the side, by the day, by the night, by the night, by the name, by the week, by the making it so, by the hour, by the night, by the night, by the name, by the week, by the making it so, by the hour, by the minute, as beating was a word, is not an aside devoted to God by some, except by being beaten with a word, is not entirely traditional to holiness, though it would be hard to argue that it is anything less than thoroughly traditional to holiness. It would be hard to argue that it is anything less than thoroughly tribal, a man, a hand, a woman, or a child, a mosque, a church, a temple, it says man, a hand, a woman, a child, a mosque, a church, a temple, it says Israel. Being beaten with batons is not entirely traditional. A hill, a kid, and I, a hand, a man, a woman, a child, a mosque, a church, a temple, it says Israel. Or a kid and I, a hand, a man, a woman, a child, a mosque, a church, a temple, it says Israel. Story gathering, a hill, a holy hill, a mountain, a story of blood, security, a pool of blood, a story gathering, officials say, it says, are working to comfort, they say, it says, story of blood, say, it says, are working to comfort, they say, it says, blood is a state of blood, story of blood, inherent narrative blood is a pool of blood, is a state of blood, state of church of blood, is the relation of blood to terror, is the state of terror, as prepared, inherently conservative, inherently narrative, inherent blood of terror. It says prepared, configuration of time. It says that there are terrors within the blood. It says in configuration of time. It says that there are terrors within the blood. Morning and day stones of Friday. It says a day of Friday. It says a day of terrors of Friday. It says a day of Friday. It says a temple. It says a church stones. Telling a story of Friday configured in the temple. In the church were in this way of uprising. Stones were configured in the telling in the story in this way of uprising. Were they stones of story or the stones of the telling? It doesn't say. It does say. It says it's hard to say. Story or the stones of the telling? It doesn't say. 1960. It says it's hard to say. It says that it's hard to say. Also form an obstruction in the throat. It says 1948. It says today. Also form an obstruction in the throat. It says 1948. It says refugees. It says displaced refugees. It says thousands of thousands of homes. It says individuals without shelter. It says individuals without education. It says individuals without safe shelter. It says individuals without education. It says individuals without safety. It says the losing of fathers. It says the losing of mothers. Individuals losing of children. It says the losing of fathers. It says the losing of mothers. It says where the story of children to tell. It says where the story becomes difficult to say. Becomes difficult to narrate. Becomes difficult to temple. Becomes difficult to mosque. Where the story becomes difficult. Becomes difficult to mount. Difficult to temple. Becomes difficult to mosque. Difficult to heal. To stand. Becomes difficult to mount. Upon them. Rise up to kneel to pray to mourn to dance to turn the corner. To turn the phrase. Turns during the clashes of Israeli forces here. Turn the corner. A man's hand. Turn the phrase. Turn during the clashes of Israeli forces here. Is a man's hand. Here is a woman's wrist. Here is a child's setting. Here's an empty cup. Here's a Palestinian. Here is a place where blood was spilled. Here's the pouring of water. Here's a place without water. Here's a place without blood was spilled. Here's the pouring of water. Here's a place without water. Here's a myth. Here's a place without sound. A ride, a hotel, a ritual, a event, a myth. A happy. Here's a day, a morning, a dawn, ritual, an evening, an event, a happening, a day, a church, a temple, a day like Friday, a day like Good Friday, a hill, a month, a church, a temple, a day like Friday, a day like Good Friday, a day of Ramadan, a Passover, religious things. It says the police were forced to enter the grounds of Ramadan. It says how many other ways? Religious things. Friday. It says police were forced to enter the grounds. It says good day for Passover. Maintaining the Friday. Good day like Friday. Ramadan. It says good day for Passover. Maintaining the status temple. A day of Ramadan. It says how many other ways of saying a thing for temple. It says mosque. It says how many other ways of the spilling of blood succeeded. What was it again? A lamb, a calf, a mountain, kid, a mosque, a temple, a spilling of blood succeeded. What was it again? A lamb, a calf, a kid, a mosque, a temple, a church, a holy hill, a holy star, a mountain, a pool of blood, a story of blood, a story of bleeding, balanced blood, inherently narrative, an eye, a hand, a man, a woman, a child, a blood, inherently narrative, a holy hill, a holy mountain, hand, a star, a holy star, a holy pool of blood, a holy star guiding a holy mountain, a star, a holy pool of blood, a holy star guiding him in the forum against the holy emptiness. The stones were massive, but the bullets were only rubber. The stones were massive, but the bullets were only rubber. Only rubber. Hence, the stones were massive, but the bullets were only rubber. Stones were most assuredly real as well. Hence, being massive, real bullets, though the stones were most assuredly not actual bombs, and real stones were thrown. It says massive stones were thrown, not actual bombs, and real stones were thrown. It says massive stones were thrown against the walls, against the police. Stones were against the temple being massive, but it says only stun grenades and hence not actually bombs. Real stones, only stun grenades and hence not actually bombs. Real stones, stun grenades, throwing, not actually. Is there a narrative in the way that the story is told? Stun grenades, throwing. Is there a narrative in the way that the story is told? Way of telling. Is the story? Is there a narrative in the way the story is told? Is there a story in the adjectival reality? It says. Is there a narrative in the way the story is told? Is there a story in the adjectival reality? It says of the stones. Way of telling. The bullets. Is it a narrative or a way of narrating? Is there a story? The story. Or way of telling. Story that's told in this way. Is it a narrative or a way of the stones, the bullets, the grenades? Does narrative belong to the stone in this way? The bullets or the grenade? Of the stones, the bullets, the grenades. Does it belong to the adjective? Belong to the stone adjective or placed in front of any one of these? Does it belong to the lamb or the silence of the lamb? The adjective placed in front of any one of the calf. Does it belong to the lamb or the silence of the lamb? The calf who says of him voice protest to the calf. Does it belong to the kid who cannot speak for the witness? Who says of him Ramadan? 52 Palestinians were noted to say it belongs to the holy month of Ramadan. To be spoken for is another holy month, or to be spoken. It says the mosque to write victims. To be spoken it says it speaks for him. Or to be spoken it says the mosque to write. Does it belong to holy? It says who speaks for him. 52 to write victims or offerings. Does it belong to the holy? It says cash rewards were to write victims or offerings. Not to choose it. Though it says hard to argue that is anything less than traditional tribal. It would be hard. Can a tribe exist? It says anything less. It says concerns. It says a small group of Palestinians. Can a tribe exist? It says cash rewards. It says concerns. It says in the traditional sense that would be hard to argue that cash rewards were offered. In the traditional sense that would be hard to argue that mass mandate less because it compounded. It says Palestinians a lamb. Can a tribe exist? It said under these conditions the Palestinians are the conditions met. Can a tribe exist? It said under these conditions. It said are the conditions met. Dozens of mass men says and they gathered stones. Other it says concern mass men. A small group of Palestinians and they gathered stones, objects in anticipation of violence. Says a small group of Palestinians and land they gathered stones, objects in anticipation of violence. Fireworks. Of Palestinians and land. And what other objects they gathered in anticipation. What other objects did they gather? It does not say what kind of violence they anticipate. It does not say what other objects did they gather. It does not say what kind of violence did they. We must ask what kind of violence they anticipate. We recognize sacrifice. What other objects did they gather? We must ask what kind of violence did they anticipate. It says what other objects did they gather. It does not say what kind of violence did they anticipate. It says if we recognize sacrifice and violence, say we must ask what kind of violence did they anticipate. If we recognize what kinds of objects violence they sacrifice. We must ask if we fail to ask did they overlook the fact. What kinds of objects? What kinds of violence? If we fail to ask, we have to anyone who succeeded. It says what kinds of violence and exactly what it was again in carrying a lamb or succeeded. It says beaten with batons and exactly what it was again in carrying a lamb or a child, a kid to the mosque not there but the hill of the holy mountain lamb, a child, a kid to the mosque to the holy hill of the holy. What exactly is carrying a lamb? Hill it says the holy kid or a calf to the mosque. What exactly is carrying a lamb? To carry lamb or a kid or a calf to the mosque. Grounds to disperse the blood, carrying of the list bill to attain these cash rewards. Grounds to disperse the rewards, the blood for spilled to attain these cash rewards. To attain these cash rewards, that is part of the fable. It says Palestine spilled to attain these cash structures of the myth, because that is part of the information belongs to the ark. What was it again? A cash structure of the myth, because that the information belongs to the ark. What was it? It made it so. It made it so, and the morphology belonged to the morphology. older morphology made it so it made it sacrifice the right morphology belonged to the table. The older morphology, the information ritual on sacrifice, the right of the blood or fast, proper table, God, and the proper the information belonging to the sacrifice or fast once again proper God, the proper tale. Was it a lamb made it so the myth kid my minister the proper morphology holy mountain says made it to the proper gathering. My minister the proper hill holy mountain it says speak to the proper gathering. Was it again so partial sacrifice the spilling of blood morphology the older morphology proper lamb ritual sacrifice the spilling of blood on the proper table of the proper lamb the same God the same God the Christians proper calf Jews the Hindus throughout Israel the same God the same God some say Christians the Muslims there is no God the Hindus throughout Israel the voice some say it says for there is no God the same God Christians the Muslims the Jews some say it says some say isn't it the same God Christians the Muslims the Jews but there was once it says that hilltop is the most some say the bullets were forced to enter but there was some say no it says that hilltop some say yes and some say the in order to prevent further violence some say yes some say yes some say no in order to prevent further violence some say yes some say the spilling of blood some say required to bind the community of the tribe and the members of the temple some say the spilling of blood to the tribe required to bind the community of the tribe and the members of the temple symbol of blood has been made to the tribe some say no to the center some say violence for decades for each of these members of the tribe some say no some say yes center native of the 2,000 for each of these members of the tribe no one asked the lamb the calf the kid no one asked the lamb some say no the kid no one asked the lamb the calf the kid 1866 no one asked the lamb the lamb kid it says yes the Catholic recognized 1866 no one asked the lamb the calf the Catholic recognized in Gaza and all agreed that it was a story of Israel also in the West Bank and Gaza and all agreed that it was a story still easy to fit into the morphology of the story of the folktale if it is not a story it's still easy to fit the morphology of the story of the folktale the myth arrange the order of folktale the myth calf the narrative or the kid appeared including the West Bank and the folktale Gaza or all the narrative agreed that it was a story Israel including the West Bank tale and Gaza story arrange the order in which the stones were gathered and further violence was prevented arrange the order in which the stones were gathered and further violence was prevented must be spilled it says the relation between the spilling of the blood and the gentle nature of the rubber bullets the relation between the spilling of the blood and the gentle nature of the rubber bullets the formulations were visions of beginning stones middle the end expressions was the formulation the visions of beginning what was once upon a time the end expressions on a Friday perhaps at the site and what was once upon a time the expressions therefore on a Friday perhaps at the site of the or kid had been killed how did it go again begin the story in this way and use words to assign specific types of values in order to reduce begin the story in this way use words such as assign specific types of values in order to reduce deployment capture defend and move use words such as describing the arrival of lamb for the kid remind those listening that such a story belongs describing the arrival of lamb for the kid remind in order listening that such a story belongs to a tradition it says disquiet removal in order to reduce terror use words such as provocation and move when describing the arrival of the lamb for the kid remind those listening that such a story belongs to when describing the arrival of the lamb for the kids remind those listening that such a story belongs to order to sacrifice them de-emphasize it says the number of lambs tradition itself in order to sacrifice them de-emphasize it says the number of lambs killed as acts of terrorism against the people or the sheer volume of blood killed as acts of terrorism against on such a holy site or the sheer volume of blood spilled on such a holy site